Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. Our patient is a 2001 Impreza. Now this is the ECM that we performed a CPU swap or MCU swap, right? So we took the chip off the original board and we put it on the replacement board. Customer received it, the car starts, it runs, but it's having issues. The issues are, well, based on those issues, you won't be able to pass the emissions, right? Because if there's any codes, the emissions won't pass. I don't know if the customer lives in the state where the emissions are required, but in any case, something is wrong. And the main issue is that we have a VVT short and we have bank 2 O2 sensor short. Now, as I said in the previous video, these are the same boards, and they are true. That's the same architecture and everything, but there is a reason why this ECM is $500 or whatever, and this one is $50 or maybe a little more. The reason is that some components on this replacement that we did are not populated. Let me show you. So this is our replacement. As you can see, we're missing this chip and we have these two chips. And on this one, we have this chip and we're missing these two chips. And we also have this chip. We also have, as you can see, chip over here, diode over here, plenty of components here, right? Two resistors that are missing here. Capacitors also missing on this one. We have these two chips missing here, right? The diodes over here. Now we have these diodes and we have this circuitry, but on the other side, same thing. So we have one diode over here, we have 4 diodes over here, right? And so on. So there's plenty of components that exist on this ECM, and don't exist on this one, and vice versa. So technically, it's the same architecture, same board layout, but different ECM. Also, interestingly, this one, the replacement, has the EEPROM. This is 2 kilobyte EEPROM over here. Typically, those hold the VIN information, VVT information, that kind of stuff. That's why the ECM technically works, because we have the injector drivers here, O2 sensor driver, the ignition driver, CAN driver. So the main functionality of the engine is there, but not that minute, not that subtle functionality that the customer needs. That's why there's a difference in prices. So we have two options. Number one, we could transfer all of these missing components from this ECM to this one and hope that none of them suffered any fault due to surge or missing ground or whatever. Option number two, we can try and fix 5 volts on this one, and this is what we're going to start with. So how does one fix a missing 5 volts on the device that one doesn't know how it works? There's no schematics, there's no board views, there's nothing for the ECMs. All you can use is this, nothing more. No one's gonna help you with this either. So first, we need to understand the circuit we're working with. Now, in my previous video, I identified that this transistor is responsible for producing 5 volts. It is not producing 5 volts, it is instead producing like half a volt, right? We replaced the transistor and it's the same deal, because transistor is not shorted, so it should be, yeah, it was a long shot anyways. So instead of figuring out how this transistor is actually driven to produce 5 volts. We just replace the MCU. But now we have to figure out how this works. So I said in my previous video that it's very unusual that our input is on the emitter, our output is on the collector, and this is our base. Unusual, but that's only because I assumed that this is an NPN transistor. It is not. It is a PNP transistor, which makes perfect sense because in PNP transistor, the emitter is your input and collector is your output. So first, let's understand what is the circuit we're working with. This is basically the equivalent of it. Our Q1 is the equivalent of our transistor that produces 5 volts. Now this one is tuned to produce about 3.6 volts. It doesn't really matter what the voltage is. To increase or reduce the voltage, we can just manipulate the values of R1 and R2 and R3. R1 is our load, right? So we're grabbing like 32 milliamps over here, and at 3.2 volts or 3.6 volts. Now, to reproduce this issue, we could just remove R4, right, and run the simulation, and we have 47 millivolts, right? A little lower. This is a different transistor and the different configuration. This is the configuration of this transistor on the board is going to be roughly something like this, but not exactly this, obviously, right? I do believe that instead of R3, probably a Zener diode is used, but this will be the configuration to use the PNP transistor as a linear voltage regulator. Now I showed you guys in my transistor video how you can make a linear regulator from the NPN transistor, which is a lot easier because you need just one transistor. For to use PNP, you need this configuration. Well, this is one of a few configurations that you can use, but this is most likely our configuration. So if we remove this resistor, we have low voltage on the output, right? So let's revert it back, and we're back to 3.6 volts. So let's take a look. So on the working board, if we make check the resistance between base and emitter, so our input, we have 600, 700 ohms, right? And if we measure on our non-working one, we have the same. Okay, we have the same. So yeah, but this is fine. So that means that our base is connected correctly to the input. So again, our schematic. We don't have this transistor, we don't have this resistor over here, but there would be a resistor between the emitter and the base over here. And that would be that resistor. As you can see, I checked in the opposite direction, but it doesn't seem to matter. This connection between the emitter and the base is also going to behave like a diode. So you're going to have lower resistance there as well. But there's a resistor here somewhere. We can just mark it over here. That goes something like this. And it charges the, let's give it 10K, right? So it keeps this transistor closed. Right, so it's basically a pull-up transistor, a pull-up resistor. So this works. Now let's check between the base and the collector. We have about 5K, and on our replacement or the original board, we have 91K. So we have a lot higher resistance than we expect. So what could be the reason for that? The reason for that could be one of the resistors that supplies the gate is faulty. And as I performed the visual inspection, I found this. What does it look like to you? It looks like burned resistor that suffered overcurrent. Now, why would a base transistor suffer overcurrent? It's a good question. I have no idea. I tried to run some simulations and try to reproduce it somehow to cause the abnormal power drain or abnormal current flowing through this resistor, but I couldn't. So what I think happened is not actually the ground has been removed and that caused a higher voltage. That's what I thought initially, but mainly based on the description of the issue. Now what I think actually happened is there must have been a short on 5 volts. Now ECM does have the 5 volt outputs on some pins. One of those pins must have been connected to ground accidentally, and that's what caused a abnormal current on this resistor, and it blew it. Now this resistor is I don't know, like half an ohm or something like that. So it should on the meter it should show up as short basically. So we can check this resistor on the replacement board. It's this one here. Yeah, it's showing 0.6, right? And on our original, we are showing 3.1K on this. So this resistor is open. Resistors don't go short. Resistors typically go open, but it's not a absolute rule. So don't take that as I said, always must be that way. Resistors can also break in the way that reduces their resistance or increases their resistance. So they don't go fully open, they just change from say 1K to 20K or sometimes from 20K to 1K. Although that is relatively uncommon, but it happens. I've seen it once. So first, what we have to do, we are going to clean this because we don't want any shorts. There might be some shorts over there, some bridges, right? So we're going to clean this and prep it for another MCU replacement, this time going back to the original board. Then we're going to replace this resistor and we'll see if the 5 volts returns. If it does return, then we're going to install the MCU and we're going to check how much power it takes. If it takes proper power, then we're going to call it fixed. Unfortunately, we can't really test the EC. But there is a high chance that once we restore 5 volts, everything should be fine. But it worries me that would this resistor be the only thing that actually suffered? Hopefully it is. And once we replace it, we'll have our answer. So let's get to it. Alrighty, 5 volts is restored, MCU is replaced. So now let's turn it off. What we want to see is 4.2 watts of power, and we want to see that everything turns on. Let me even snap a video. And there you go. And let's turn it on. We have 4.3, and what is this little boy? Why is this? Oh yeah, that's normal. This is the resistor. MCU turned on. Beautiful. Yep. This is good. This is a ignition, CAN bus, and some other things. This is the resistor. It's normal, and our linear regulator is hot because that's how it works. So in this configuration, the linear regulator built on a transistor is basically a variable resistor, right? And it basically works as a resistor based voltage divider. So the power dissipates on the component because we're dropping 12 volts to 5 volts, which means the more current, the more power is going to dissipate on the components. So looks like it was just that one resistor, that one tiny resistor, that was a culprit for the whole thing. This little guy. Too bad I didn't see it initially, because it would have saved me a whole lot of work replacing the MCU twice. And actually, so you have to remove it from this board, remove the original from the other board, and resolder this one. And now we have to do the same thing again. Well, that's how it is sometimes. But it's entirely my fault because I did not see the differences between those two boards. That was the whole issue, which is too bad, but we got it. So it's consuming correctly, it's turning on correctly. This should work now as it did before. Sorry about the delay, and thank you for your business. Fellas, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate you. Hope you found this interesting. If so, hit the like, and I shall see you guys in the next one.